everybody, it's the Jersey guys again. Mitch, Pete.
Hi.
Today we thought we would just entertain you with a little top 5 list of our individual top 5 bands not named Rush.
I think that a lot of people like to know, like, if you're into Rush and like we have for the last 30, 40 years, well, what kind of other musical influences do you have? And I think it's pretty surprising the eclectic tastes that we have. And I think you'd be surprised by my top 5, and I'll probably be very, very surprised by your top 5. And it'd be interesting to see what you guys also think. Because just because you like Rush doesn't mean you like all progressive rock.
Right. I mean, as we say, we've been listening to Rush for, between 30 and 40 years, and it's not all we listen to. We listen to other things. So I don't think my list will be too surprising. I think I'm pretty predictable in my taste, but I know yours is going to be very eclectic, I'm sure. And we have no idea what the other one is going to say.
And I think we like Rush for different reasons as well. Like, you appreciate certain aspects of Rush, where I appreciate other aspects of Rush. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of interesting, I wonder if everyone's like that, but you're a musician, and you guys don't see his drum set over there, so whereas I don't understand music, I can't read music, but that doesn't mean I can't appreciate good musicianship.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love most about Rush is the musicianship, and I think my taste in general follows that same suit. So why don't we get to it and stop messing around and let these folks get on with their business.
All right.
Who's going first?
The audience? No, okay. Well, I'll just go first.
Go ahead.
This is a pretty easy choice for me, even though a lot of people probably say, well, are they still around, or are they... Let's see if you can take a guess. And I think they took the rock world by storm in the early 80s, and the 80s, they pumped out like 3 or 4 super albums, and a lot of people think they fell off the face of the earth, but they're making somewhat of a comeback now. But what they did in the 80s and 90s for me will always stay near and dear to my heart, and the band is called Queensryche. I remember when I first heard the EP with Lady Wore Black and Queen of the Reich, I was like, oh my god, what is this band? And it was just phenomenal. And ever since then, I mean, obviously the Warning, and then Rage for Order, and then Operation Mindcrime, which still to this day is probably on a deserted island. I'm taking Operation Mindcrime with me. I actually do like some other poppy stuff they did a little bit later, but if you get a chance, there's one good song from Jeff Tate's Operation Mindcrime last album called Reinventing the Future, which isn't that bad. It's reminiscent a little bit of Mindcrime, but yeah, I admit that their last albums in last 15 years with Jeff Tate weren't all that good, but what they did prior to that definitely solidifies them in second place for me.
Okay, that's very interesting, because we're not going in any particular order. My top 5 wasn't in any prioritized order, but since you started out with Queensryche, I'm going to start mine out, because one of my top 5 on my list that we wrote earlier is Queensryche. Of course, I mean, how can you be a Rush fan and not appreciate Queensryche, right? Right? I remember, and I'll just make this short, going down again, Montclair, New Jersey, walking down, I lived on North Mountain Avenue, I could walk down Bloomfield Avenue to Crazy Rhythms music store, and being in my early 20s, starving for new metal. We didn't have MTV back then, really. We didn't have all this stuff, and starving for new metal, and I would go through the album bin, and I pulled this one album out. It had a funny cover. I looked on the back and I saw these guys with long hair and wearing leather jackets and leather pants, and I said, well, they look like they're metal. What the heck, I'll give it a try. It turned out to be the Warning album. I went home and I put that, and I swear to God, I put that album on, and the minute the needle hit vinyl, I went, oh my God, who is this band and why haven't I heard of them before? And that was the start. Yeah, the Warning album, again, Operation Mindcrime, an absolute masterpiece, never ever grows old. Still to this day, I listen to Mindcrime all the time in the car, start to finish. It's just a great album.
And the fact that we recognize this band to be so great right from the beginning, it validates everything we believed in them, because they continued that excellence for at least 15 years.
Yes,
you know?
Yeah. All right, so there you go. So we agree right off the bat. We have an agreement, and we got Queensryche. So I'll go with my second one since you started.
Oh yeah, you go.
Yeah. And what I'm going to do then, another top band of mine, not named Rush, actually comes from the city where Queensryche comes from, Seattle. And I'm going with Candlebox. Not a progressive band, just a good rock band. I saw Candlebox for the first time open up for Rush on the Counterparts tour. I saw them at Madison Square Garden, and then I flew to North Carolina and saw the tour again. And the interesting thing is here, they were the opening act, and I've never heard of them at this time. And I remember turning to my brother when I went to him with him in North Carolina. I said, I saw these guys in Madison Square Garden. They suck. They were just an awful band, and I think it was just the sound system. It must have been. And I said, I can't believe Rush picked these guys to open up. About 2 months later, I just happened to pick up their first album in one of those RCA record deals. You know, you get 10 for a penny or whatever. And I picked that album, and I got to tell you, man, the first album still to me remains one of the best albums, start to finish. Not a bad track on there. Actually, I have every single album that they have. The only album I didn't care for was Lucy, but every album, even their newest stuff, and I already prepaid for their newest album. They're in the studio recording right now, so I already prepaid for it. So
we saw them acoustically, right, in Ponte Vedra.
In Ponte Vedra, Florida, yeah.
And he puts on a great show. And they're still pumping out good albums today, right? Yeah.
So who's your number two?
Well, probably making a complete 180 right here. Take a guess.
Blue October.
Blue October. Blue October. Probably a lot of people say, Blue what? Blue Monday? No. Blue October, yeah. Blue October is...
I don't even know who they are.
Is the band I go to almost every day when I want to listen to a song, because their library spans like the last 15, 20 years, and it depends on my mood, but there's always a song that fits my mood for that time of the day. Blue October, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, they sang that they had one top 40 song called Hate Me, which was a big hit. But believe it or not, that's not even my top 10 or 20 favorite songs by Blue October. I love Blue October for everything they've done, and I love the sound of Blue October, even if they're recording urinating against a wall. I just love the sound of their music, and that's how
you must love that sound, because if you love Blue October,
so they can do no wrong. What I do appreciate about Justin Fusterfield, the lead singer, is passion. And if we all had half the amount of passion that he has, the world would be a better place. Remember the alligator hunter, Steve Irwin, the passion that he had. I don't care about alligators, but in the same way, we're attracted to this person because they were so passionate about the topic. And the same thing with the lead singer from Blue October. And if I could only direct you to acoustic versions of the song Fear, and listen to the very end, the acapella at the very end, the passion, the energy that comes out, and also maybe King. Those are some of the latest releases, but of course their catalog is phenomenal, and they have a new album coming out. Please support this band. I wish more people knew about them.
Okay, let's go number 3.
Oh, number 3, I'm gonna go with another progressive band, which probably isn't much of a stretch right here. I remember walking into Guitar Center because my cousin wanted to buy a guitar, a drum set, electronic drum set, and I'm just walking around like do 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 do, and I hear this music over the loudspeaker. And I'm like, what is this? And I hear, na, 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 and I'm like, what is this? So I go up to the counter and I ask, who is this? What kind of music is this? And the clerk said it's Coheed and Cambria. Coheed and Cambria, which is, you know, if you're a Rush fan, you probably know Coheed and Cambria as well.
Yeah.
And
Pretty
there's no denying
too.
that Coheed sounds a little bit like Rush's
Yeah.
high-pitched voice does sound a little bit like Geddy Lee. But I just love this band, and the fact of the matter is they can go from crazy progressive thrash metal all the way to very, very poppy music. So like high points for me would be In Keeping Secrets, and then Flavor House Atlantic is very poppy to also Feathers, but they also got some really hard songs like Welcome Home and etc. But very, very talented. We saw him play at the Rockville, and his hair is in front of his face, but he can still shred that guitar like nobody's business. So Coheed, just love them, and they changed my life after I got those first couple of albums.
All right, so third on my list, not in third order, but just number 3 of 5 in no particular order. I am going progressive. Again, with the band Kansas. Kansas. Everything with with Steve Walsh on it, of course. John Leofonte, he did that one album with them. It was okay, but you got to have Steve Walsh on vocals. Kansas, everything they wrote was orchestrated and very progressive in that, but they were like Rush in the sense that they could write a progressive song, but somehow they were able to keep it commercial, which was a very good marriage. You know, it's very hard to write commercial music, but to keep it progressive at the same time. Kudos to Kansas. All their albums throughout the 70s and 80s were just phenomenal, so that's my pick.
I just think their longevity, they didn't have enough, for me, they didn't have enough quality albums.
Oh, I think they did. I think they did. Maybe you don't know them all.
Yeah.
But I think they did, and again, the whole thing was orchestrated, all their music, and so it's great, and I'm going with them, and that's my pick.
You go.
Number 4. 4 on my list. I'm going to take a 180 turn here now. I'm not going to go not progressive, but I'm going to go musicianship, because obviously that's where my music taste falls, right? Everybody I named so far, great musicianship. And I don't know if we can call this a band per se, because it's really 2 guys.
Oh, I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going to go. And that is Steely Dan. I mean, Steely Dan owned the 70s. There wasn't a decade that went by where they didn't have a hit or 2 on the charts. They did it year after year after year. Phenomenal musicians. They had studio musicians and the best established guest musicians play on their albums. So as far as musicianship goes, even though it was very commercial music, if you're a musician and you listen to that stuff, you hear what the common ear doesn't hear. And so absolutely, Walter Becker and Donald Fagen, tremendous songwriters. Rest in peace, Walter Becker. I was fortunate enough to see them probably, I think about 6 times I got to see Steely Dan, so that's my pick.
Yeah, I mean, no denying that they're extremely talented. We saw them about a year ago with Deep Purple. That opened for them, and was it Deep Purple?
No.
Okay. Steely, the Doobie Brothers opened for them.
Yes. No.
Yeah, unbelievably talented.
Was that
drummer,
it?
Yeah.
Somebody. We saw them. I forget who opened up.
Yeah, the drummer's just unbelievable.
I think
So
Doobie
talented.
Brothers opened up for Deep Purple. We saw Steely Dan. Someone else opened up. It was a no-name band. That's who it was. It was just some guy. Remember, guy playing guitar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I just remember being pretty impressed by the drummer in Steely Dan.
Carlisle. I forget his name right now. Monster drummer.
Yeah. Well, Steely Dan's a little before my time, and right now I'm going to show my even poppier side. So my last two picks are pretty poppy, I guess. And this fourth band on my list and this band actually used to be number 2 for a while. So it used to be Rush, Queensryche, and then this band. Then this band replaced Queensryche for a little bit, but now it's taken a couple steps back, and the band is Def Leppard. Def Leppard.
Oh.
Yeah, Def Leppard. I mean, no one can deny hit after hit. I mean, just look at their catalog. They have so many hits. A little bit like Bon Jovi. I mean, I'm not Bon Jovi's not my top 5, but no one can say that they don't have one song that they like by that band. And Def Leppard has a gazillion songs that I like. Starting off with their first album and you know, On Through the Night and then, you know, Pyromania and everything like that. And
okay,
everything went after that is just hit after hit after hit. Joe Elliott's voice isn't the perfect voice, that's for sure. And musicians, a la Steely Dan, however, just the abundance of hits, and I actually like their last albums as well. They have never put out a stinker album for me. Maybe the one that's called 10X, that was the one that was a little iffy. But every single album for me was pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pick bands that have lots of hits per se, other than Steely Dan because of the musicianship. Because I mean, if you're doing that, you could say Billy Joel, you could say Bruce Springsteen, Elton John, Stevie Wonder. I mean these guys pumped out hits.
Did it speak to you? I mean, a lot of
No.
Def Leppard songs. When I heard "Photograph" for the first time, or even the 100th
See,
time.
I migrate more towards musicianship, and there isn't a whole lot of musicianship with Def Leppard.
but
So that's why they don't make my list.
It's the energy, and oh my
Okay.
god, just the.
What do you got for number 5?
Number 5, another poppy band that the world probably around the same time as Candlebox, and they took MTV by storm with the great song that's still played today all the time, "Shine" by Collective Soul.
Oh, Collective Collective Soul. Okay, good band.
I'm just gonna tell you guys, if you're walking around the supermarket or a mall, you'd be surprised. Over the radio, there's a lot of songs you might be hearing, but a lot of them are Collective Soul. You don't even know it's Collective Soul. Just to put it in perspective, Elton John has a duet with Collective Soul.
Wow.
How many bands have collaborated with Elton John?
Eminem.
Well, that was live. But Elton John actually appears on a Collective Soul album, which is unbelievable. Obviously, The World That I Know and Shine and Why and Heavy, a lot of great songs.
Okay.
They have continued to put out great music and I love the Roland's great voice. The vocals are excellent. And that's my top 5, guys.
Okay, and so wait, I got my 5th.
You might have some honorable mentions.
Well, that's how I'm ending my 5. Because I have to do it because number 5 comes down to I got a tie, almost a tie. So one I'm going to call an honorable mention, and that's going to be my honorable mention is going to be Alice in Chains. I'm going to throw them in there because Alice in Chains. All the way up until
go ahead.
the death of Lane. Just a tremendous band. The music, it was dark, but it was just tremendous, and you know, a little bit of progression. So that's my honorable mention. But my number 5. All right, so
that's from the Alex Lifeson's solo album, Victor.
So my real true pick, number 5, is another progressive band, except this is a progressive metal band. And how did somebody not mention Iron Maiden? I mean, come on. Iron Maiden, and I don't care which Iron Maiden you're talking about. You're talking about the Paul Di'Anno, or the Bruce Dickinson, the Nico McBrain, or the Clive Burr. It doesn't matter. It was all tremendous because you still had Steve Murray, and you still had, Dave Murray and Steve Harris and Adrian
Smith.
These guys, just tremendous progressive metal songwriters, and that's it. Iron Maiden, the Trooper it will live on forever. No one will ever get sick of the Trooper.
Yeah, definitely. Iron Maiden is one of my top bands of all time. I mean, they just barely missed the cut, right?
Yeah,
here.
I don't know how Blue October made it in and Maiden was out.
I got a soft spot as I'm getting older. What can I tell you? But Iron Maiden, the first 5 albums just completely blew me away.
Blew you away.
There's nothing I can say about
No.
Just unbelievable.
They deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, 100%.
And just below them, I'd put Judas Priest. Just
yeah,
below.
and you got so many bands now, honorable mentions. Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin. They all go in there. They all go in the mix.
Yeah, I don't know. More contemporary stuff. I'm trying to think. I mean, Dream Theater, but...
Not enough. They're a little too obscure for me sometimes.
Yeah.
Great, tremendous musicianship, but it's just hard to follow sometimes.
Right. But that's
Okay.
about it for me.
All right.
I love a lot of different kinds of genres, and that's the important thing to hear is that, just because you like progressive music doesn't mean you have to like only progressive music.
Yeah.
I mean,
we kind of like progressive though.
We do. I mean,
list is
I
solid.
like Spock Spear, just like Camel. There's Gentle Giant and Emerson, Lake and Palm. I mean, there's a lot of bands, Genesis, that we all do like.
Yes.
Yes, great
You know.
band. Yeah.
So there you go. So that's our top 5. If we're going on a deserted island and we have to bring 5 non-Rush albums or bands that we can pick from, there they are.
So Geddy Lee, if you hear this or watch this, check out Blue October.
Or not.
Or Candlebox.
There you go.
Which you already know.
Yeah, you know they open for you. All right, guys. That's it. So I'm Mitch. That's Peter. And thanks for tuning in. And we'll catch you next time.